see as well, just when you were talking there, Keith, about Danny Rowe and, Ryan Stevenson mentioned Martin O'Neill earlier on being 73. I think he's 74 next month. I was thinking about Martin O'Neill, the things, the kind of obstacles he's got. No help in the transfer market. Below mediocre signings. Several players want to chuck it. Several players injured. It's just so remarkable, the narratives in all three clubs, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. If you just kind of take them all in their own merits, whoever manages to come out on top will have done something absolutely remarkable as a manager this season. You're right that, Martin O'Neill, I feel, has been badly let down by his own board. He's been dealt a hand which he knows is nowhere near the level that it needs to be. That's why I think he took a personal involvement in bringing Oxlade-Chamberlain into the club, because, as we discussed, that's the sort of level of signing that Martin O'Neill expects Celtic to deliver. Now, what happens to the new guys that have been brought in? Who makes the grade? Who doesn't? Who knows? I noticed that Thomas Chavancara has said that he plans to make such a healthy contribution between now and the end of the season that it persuades Celtic to sign him on a permanent deal. He said that in day one. I was over at Lennoxtown for his initial press conference when he'd signed on loan, and that's he's been pretty clear on that. He looks as if he could make a contribution. I'm not too sure about some of the others. And so Martin O'Neill has had to soldier on. He's had to, I keep saying, running about spinning plates. That's what he's doing. There'll be moments where he's sticking elastoplast on this lot. There'll be moments when he needs to, and we've seen it. I'm not sure that there's too many other managers that, even when the odds are stacking up and when Celtic are struggling to perform within games, he's getting the results. The performance level isn't there is the concern. But Martin O'Neill is finding a way from the sidelines to influence these games.
It's really hard. European tie to navigate as well.
Yeah, and you wonder what he wants to do with that one on Thursday night. Because, as well as me, Scott, we were discussing it the other night, even if he felt that he'd like to just rest his entire best 11 for this game, he can't do it. And he wouldn't be able to bring himself to do that, being the competitor that he is. And Celtic simply don't have the quality. And if he was to make a whole bunch of changes and Celtic went out there and had a really difficult night, I know you might be able to say, well, that was that 11 and, there was 11 changes made or whatever. But it does affect momentum. It does affect morale. So he has to be mindful of all this. He's got so much in his plate to deal with, Martin O'Neill. It's frightening. And yet there he is at this stage in his life and his career, where this would be, of all the things that he's achieved in football, I think Martin O'Neill, if he could win this title, would say this tops the lot.
No. And look, just one last comment. AGSC Tech says, it's like in any job, sometimes you get a new manager that simply keeps you out. Other times you're like, I'm going to do everything I can to help this guy. It's all about how a manager makes you feel. And I think that's so true. Like, I think players will go out their way. Martin O'Neill makes them feel like $1 million. You saw Danny Rowe on the pitch the other day, picking Chermiti off the ground. And, that, I think, will give that extra couple of percent. But
I don't think there's any doubt, Dan, these three managers we're talking about, players all want to play for them.
Majority connected with their own dressing rooms, that's for sure.
100%.